Chloe, and this is my husband, Justin, finally in a video. So I brought him on here so we could talk about our marriage, why we got married the way we did, and what happened 3 weeks after our marriage and just a day after my 29th birthday. So if you watched the first video before this, I go over coming back to YouTube as a content creator, why I was gone for 2 years, and what led up to me having to go through brain surgery. So I also brought my husband on here as well, just to talk about his testimony, which I know a lot of you have asked about. So he will share his side, especially being a caretaker of someone who was disabled and going through something life-threatening. I know there's a lot of people out there that suffer through that daily, and we just want you to know that you are not alone, and going through that made me have a whole different perspective on how truly difficult it is. But he also has a story, and it's not just mine, because he pretty much had to do it alone, almost. Because like I said in my previous video, we have no family around us, just friends. So it was even more difficult. We did have family fly down and drive down to come take off some of the load, but 24/7 it was truly him, and he is Superman to me. I don't know how he does the things he did and still does, and he was a big part of my healing journey and nourishing me back to health, and I seen it change him for the better too. It changed me into someone I always wished I could be, but I also seen it change my husband into such an amazing, God-fearing man. And yeah, so I'm gonna let him tell a little bit of his story. Well, before we get started, let me first say why we got married, okay? So one day we woke up, and we're both Christians. We're living under the same roof, but we weren't practicing abstinence for a while. And we both started having this conviction on our hearts. We should be married. We've been talking about it since day one, since we first started dating, how important it was to us, our morals and things we wanted out of life. So it was a no-brainer, but we also didn't think what would happen 3 weeks after would happen. So I just looked at him one day and I was like, do you want to get married? Like, I can't take this conviction anymore. It's so strong on my heart and soul. And he looked at me and he was like, sure, yeah, let's do it. So it was very mutual. There was like no huge proposal. I know eventually he wants to get me a new ring, one that we've always dreamed about, and do his thing, because he is a hopeless romantic, and I know that's something he wants to do for me, special for me, because I've waited my entire life to get married. But also, when you are a Christian, it's not about the materialistic things, and it's more so doing what's right. And yeah, so we went to the courthouse. I had the only white dress on I had in my closet, a little spring white dress, and I was freaking out over a bouquet. I was like, what are we gonna do? He made the cutest bouquet, which we will insert a clip. He designed it. He designed this cute bouquet, and it was really cute, but it was special because it was made by my husband. And we literally got like the cheapest rings. To be honest, they were, they weren't custom or anything. We just ordered them online. Like I said, we will eventually, when we're able to afford it, get our real rings that is customized to us. And my finger, that's why it's kind of loose on me, because it doesn't truly fit me. So I did my hair in like a little messy updo. This is when I had my long blonde hair. And I wore my pearls, I put my white heels on, and did my makeup. He got in his white dress shirt and some black dress pants, nice black dress shoes, did his hair really nice. We wrote our vows. So we went to the courthouse. We said our vows to each other. We don't have much footage or photography of any of it, which made me sad after brain surgery because I lost so much of my memory. And I wanted to have something to look back on. And yeah, it was really brief, but it was special. And we were planning on having a wedding, but because of the cost of my brain surgery and everything that happened, it was $500,000 surgery. It sucked us of all of our finances, our savings, everything. So yeah, so now we do plan on having one. It's not the regular timeline, but this is what I want to tell you guys. There's no special moment, no perfect timing. You don't have to do it how society tells you to do it. You don't need a huge wedding to marry the person you love. If it's on your heart, do it. Just like with baptism, you know, like if God's speaking you to get saved right then and there. Don't wait for the devil to seep in and attack you. And that's another thing with getting married. He will attack when you get baptized, when you get married, like the special moments in your life, because he doesn't want you to have that contract with God. And God tested us very early on, obviously in our marriage, within 3 weeks, with the vow in sickness and in health.
Well, at least I did call your dad and Papa to ask permission. So I guess that was a thing that standard thing that needs to be done always.
Well, they loved it. I think you even called, did you call my brother too?
I think so. And then we have the video of one. I think you're a big Papa.
Yeah.
Video.
I actually recorded it. I screen recorded the conversation. But it was really sweet.
Yeah. It's when you know, you know. So, I mean, I don't know. I think society paints this picture, you need this extravagant thing, which is fine as well. You know, it's what every woman dreams of. But I know we've also heard stories from people who have done that and said they wish they'd done it differently. So we're just focused on God's plan and his timing to give us what we feel in our hearts. And when that happens, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Yeah, I think it was a beautiful thing. Anyway, just a little courthouse thing.
Yes.
Went out to dinner that night. It was just cool. But my perspective, it was very scary, obviously, because you're working standard normal day, everything's going fine, and then you get a text, and she sometimes gets sick here and there. She's like, I'm not feeling well, and she started saying some weird things like my leg feels numb or my one side feels numb, and I'm like, that's strange. So my sister, who's a NP, I texted her and she's saying, she's might be having stroke-like symptoms. Her mom said the same thing, so we decided to go to the ER, and I figured it was just a, go in there, we're going to do a test, a scan, here's some medication, and, there's some type of infection or something, or a ear infection or whatever it was, and then it turned out to be something completely different. At first, they tried to, hide it. They're like, did you hit your head? They're coming into the room and like, did you hit your head and stuff? I'm like, what? Did you hit your head? And it was funny because she's like, we had margaritas last night. Could my symptoms be because of that? I was like, huh? Because her birthday was a regular day the night before. We celebrated with some friends at the house. But I don't know, it was all just strange. And then I kind of found out because she was kind of in this la la land at this point, because she was kind of the tumor was really pressing up against it, and I guess she was losing consciousness and here in and out and stuff. But her mom was on the phone, and then the doctor said that we found a mass in her brain while her mom was on the phone, and that's when I kind of find out.
Awful.
And then at the same time, I'm texting my sister, and then I get my sister on the phone with the practicing doctor, I guess, if I forget her name.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but then
See, I don't remember a lot of stuff.
And then they're talking all these different terms, blah blah blah, this term and that term, this term. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then my sister is saying to me, it doesn't look good. This was like a 50-50 chance, vice versa. And I was just like, what is happening right now? You know what I mean? Like, it's like when something happens to you in your life and it's just shocking, you just kind of go numb and you don't feel it. So afterwards, it's kind of like that. So she got transported the whole nine. And during the transport, I had to go back home because these little puppies were there at the house. They had no idea what was going on, expecting us to return. And it was the same old, come return. And they're all jumping for joy and, wanting kisses. And Sydney gets her little toy and brings it up and just, wiggling and doing her standard thing. And at that point, I just started, breaking down crying because I didn't know if they were going to see their mom again or anything. So our friends, Ness and Tosh, came to pick up the doggies. There was our dog sitters at that time and took care of them and had no questions asked and were there for a lot of our struggles and stuff. Is it was one of our support systems that we did have that we were grateful for. And I don't know, I just went to the hospital and I was like, all right, we're gonna take this head on. I just remember it was like a 30-minute drive from where we lived at that time to the hospital, and I was just praying the whole time that God would give us some type of miracle, that would all work out fine and good. And her mom's calling and they're finding flights, and her dad and stuff, and I'm texting, figuring it all out, and her best friend Alexis, and I'm doing all these, maneuvering all these things. And also my sister she dropped everything and just drove down. She lives in 9 hours away. It's like, what, 9 o'clock at night or something? She's like, I'm driving down, I'll be there at 4 a.m. or something like that. I was like, what? And it was nuts, but I slept in a hospital chair, which you guys don't know is like those little side, when you go to the doctor's office, like those chairs.
Yeah, they didn't have a recliner. It was like...
Yeah, they didn't have a recliner.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I went to the cafeteria, and then it's like right before surgery, and I walked back in, and this is when her mom gets done, and there's a recliner in the corner, and her mom's just sitting there lounging, and I'm like, where'd you find that? And I said, I asked them, and they got me from out of the room. I was like, they couldn't have done this last night, really? Anyway, all in all, it's just, it's a crazy experience from my perspective. I just literally... The only thing that got me through the whole entire thing, the strength and stuff, the Superman strength, I guess, is just my faith in God. It just really tested my limits. I think before I was a Christian, I would have resorted to some not so good things. I probably would have resorted to smoking or drinking or doing all those, worldly vices that people kind of turn to in situations like that. But I didn't. I just... kept praying, put my faith in God. I said, I'm going to be the provider. I just made a promise to her 3 weeks ago that in sickness and health, I would always be there. I'm not running away. I'm not doing anything. I'm not saying, just call her mom and let her mom handle the whole thing or whatever. Like, no, I stepped up and said, this is what it is. And, and I guess that's just what kept me going. Was I tired at times? Yeah. Was there times after we got back home where I just needed rest and she needed some more medicine or something, and I'll have to force myself to wake up and do it? Yeah, I did, but that's just what I had to do. So
another thing for us women, you don't really expect your husband to see every terrible thing about you 3 weeks after your marriage. I'm talking about having to depend on him fully, using the bathroom, going to the bathroom, wiping, showering, feeding you, because you can't move, having to read my texts and stuff for me, which honestly, I didn't realize how many people cared about me until you go through something like this. I think that's when you realize, I know everyone gets caught up in life and things happen, but that's when I really seen how much of an impact I've made on people's lives that reached out to me. And just watching back videos too of the old times and just things we did, it was really joyful because, like I said, I lost a lot of my memory. Every time I spoke, I couldn't remember exactly what I just said. I was stuttering. I couldn't watch TV or have lights on or anything for
a little bit, yeah.
A long time, yeah. And I could not move my dominant hand. I was so weak, and it looked like a zombie hand, like where they missed my vein so many times. I had anesthesia, like I guess tubes or whatever in both my arms, and I just couldn't move it. And they said the left side of my brain controls the right side of your body, obviously. So it affected the right side of my body for sure. I still have tingling in my right foot from time to time. If I get really tired of walking, I stumble. My speech, I've noticed I stutter sometimes, or I stumble with my words. And I've gained a little bit of dyslexia, I've noticed. And I've also there's a few side effects, but honestly, I'm really grateful that I healed the way I did, because everyone's situation is completely different with a brain tumor. There's over 1 million Americans living with it, and mostly young adults and children. And there's over 120 different types of brain tumors, most cancerous. So everyone's different, but it is nice for people to tell their story, which is what I publicly speak about when I do public speaking events, or even in my book I'm writing. It talks about how I got through everything, every small detail of our story. He even writes in it a little bit, but I speak on how your testimony and your story holds power, and you don't have to go through something as dramatic as I've been through for it to be impactful. We all have our purpose, and I guess just going through what I went through made me realize mine. And there is a point where I had to have a conversation with him, if I was to die or not, because you do have to have a conversation. I actually became at peace with it. Believe it or not, you get to a point to where your body knows. And I never thought even being a Christian, I was still scared of the unknown. I think it was more of like how I was going to die, not where I'm going, but more of like, am I going to suffer? Your brain is your central nervous system. It controls everything. So I said, if I have to go through this, maybe this is my purpose, for it to teach someone else or spread awareness about something. And if I miraculously make it through, then that's a proof of God there as well. It's just like the disciples, like nothing was perfect. They suffered. They had to go through what they had to go through to teach the next generation. And so that's the conversation I had to have with him. And it sucks. You have to have that conversation just 3 weeks after getting married, and it's not how you dreamt your life would turn out. But in the next video, I will be going over more of like the surgery, when my parents got there, what exactly was going on, the type of brain tumors I have and had, why they were wanting to do radiation on me, what might have caused it, and more of the symptoms I was having that I noticed after my brain surgery, because I noticed I didn't have those symptoms anymore. So those were slight symptoms, but I lived with it for so long because I had the tumor apparently for over a decade. I thought it was normal. So I'll be going over that, and the recovery process, like the healing process, how we grew stronger in our faith because of it all. And yeah, we'll also be doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions we haven't answered, please put them in the comments below so we can answer them in our next videos. And like I said, I will be making a playlist for all of this too, so you can watch the series once all of this is finished. And like I said, if you haven't went back to watch the other video about me returning back to YouTube and why I was gone for so long, that will also help with a lot of the details and put things into perspective for you too. So anything else you want to add for any of the caretakers or husbands? Or
You just gotta do what you gotta do. As a man, your job is to step up, especially being a married man and stuff. Not just running away from your problems, facing them head on. I think it's the biggest thing. And yeah, it's just what I did.
Well, I love you, honey. Thank you so much for joining this
Too.
vlog. It's his first time being back in front of the camera in a long time too.
Yeah.
And it's been hard to really focus on caring for ourselves lately. When we try our best, it's just been a lot of stress on us lately. So this was a big first step. So I appreciate you. So grateful for you. And you're the best husband.
Love you.
Bye guys. Thank you for watching.